Welcome to Follow Me, 11B. Discussions on current events, macroeconomics, and freedom and liberty from a veteran's perspective. Today I wanted to talk Supreme Court, particularly the retirement of Justice Stephen Breyer from the United States Supreme Court, announced last Thursday, the 27th of January, and more specifically, potential President Joe Biden replacement picks. So let's jump into an article I came across from the AP entitled "The White House, No Gaming the System on Supreme Court Pick." It's by Colleen Long and Mary Claire Jelonic. It was written January 30th, 2022, and it was updated 3 hours ago. President Joe Biden will meet with Senate Judiciary Committee leaders on Tuesday to discuss the upcoming U.S. Supreme Court vacancy and the president's promise to nominate a black woman to the High Court. Aides said Biden's list of potential candidates is longer than 3. Yeah, I hope so. It's kind of an important gig. The White House also pushed back Monday on the idea that the president would be open to gaming the system by choosing a nominee solely based on her likelihood of garnering bipartisan support. Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, and Ranking Minority Member Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa, will meet with Biden at the White House to go over potential nominees to replace Justice Stephen Breyer, who announced his retirement last week. Biden himself served as head of the Judiciary Committee when he was a senator and presided over the confirmations of 6 high court picks, including Breyer. Biden said since his campaign that he would nominate a black woman to the nation's highest court, and he personally interviewed a few of the nominees when they were under consideration for appointment to the federal bench. But the White House pushed back on the idea of choosing a candidate just to get bipartisan support, saying Biden would choose the best woman for the job, period. The president is going to select a woman, a black woman, who is qualified, who is prepared, who has impeccable experience to serve on the court. He's going to do that based on her credentials, of course, having a discussion with her and not through gaming out the system, Psaki said. Biden is pledged to pick by the end of February. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, reiterated the Senate will have a fair process that moves quickly so we can confirm President Biden's nominee to fill Justice Breyer's seat as soon as possible. Among the nominees under consideration are Ketanji Brown Jackson, who serves on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, California Supreme Court; Justice Leandra Krieger, U.S. District Court Judge Wilhelma Wright from Minnesota; and Melissa Murray, a New York University law professor who is an expert in family law and reproductive rights justice. Michelle Childs, who has been nominated to the same appeals court where Jackson presides, is James Clyburn's choice. Republican Senators Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott, both of South Carolina, have both expressed support for Childs. Breyer, 83, will retire at the end of the term. Terms for the Supreme Court typically end at the end of June, the beginning of July. But not really so much the retirement of Justice Breyer is what I wanted to talk about, but the replacement picks, the potential replacement picks, and how they're being picked. So again, potential replacement picks. This is Joe Biden's short list as of a few days ago. I have seen some news reports in the last 24 hours that he is considering expanding the potential list of picks because apparently it's not super popular in the United States with the American public to pick somebody based on the color of their skin or their gender. As a matter of fact, let's jump right over to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, 1964. According to the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, no employer may refuse to hire or to discharge any individual or otherwise to discriminate against any individual with respect to his or her compensation, terms, condition, or privileges of employment because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. And if you have a job, this is mandatory to have this posted in like an employee break room or a obvious place where people can look at it and read it so that they can know their rights. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But what I'm getting at is it's just strange to have the president, any president really, but Joe Biden, his current president, announced that he is going to pick somebody based on the color of their skin and their gender. Nowhere else in America is this okay. As a matter of fact, most places it's illegal, as I just mentioned from the Civil Rights Act 1964, Title 7, excuse me. Would you? I understand what he's trying to get at. He's trying to get the court to, to be more diverse, to look more diverse. But I ask you, why would that matter if the court is indeed a neutral, calling balls and strikes arbiter of the law? If it's just reading and interpreting a law, it doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, so on and so forth. It doesn't matter if you're green. The law is the law. That's why we have the law. Imagine if you went to, again, we've got, diversity is a good thing. Okay, but it's not the end all be all. Let's think about this. Let's think this through logically for a second. If you go anywhere, if you're in the military, for example, and you're in a unit that's about to go on a dangerous mission, and your staff sergeant that's heading up the mission is the best. That's what you want. You want somebody that's the best at kicking in doors and rescuing hostages or closing with and killing the enemy, so forth. You don't necessarily want to say, well, this is the best white guy at that job. This is the best black guy at that job. You want to know that this is the best person for that job. Otherwise, people could die. Same thing with anything, though. It doesn't have to be life or death. If you, let's say, let's try another example. You could go to a restaurant. You could say, "Hey, I want to go to the best restaurant in town." You don't want to say, you don't normally hear people say, "I want to go to the most diverse restaurant in town." You want the best food. You don't care who's cooking the food. You don't care if they're Asian or they're Hindu or they're white or black. It doesn't matter as long as the food is good. If you're being intellectually honest with yourself. Take it a step further. You go to the doctor and you need a surgery, and you don't want the best doctor on this floor for the surgery. You might be on the pediatric wing and with no surgical experience, but we got the best doctor on this floor. It's the same thing, just in terms of floors instead of skin color. So if you think about it that way, you go to the ER, you want the best doctor. You go to the lawyer, you get in trouble with the law in some way, shape, or form. You don't want the most diverse law firm. You want the best lawyer that's going to help you in your situation. So I think that would be the best way, personally, to hire, because this just seems like smacks of pretty obvious racial identity politics. You look at candidates for a job, this job or any other, and you choose the best. Unless you don't really want the best, unless you just want the best from this group. You could, you could say this is the best on this floor at the hospital. This is the best of the women that I have examined. This is not the best from the whole collection. This might be the best. I don't know. But don't you think it'd make more sense to examine all the candidates before you just say, we're going to take all the candidates, we're going to throw out 90% of them and just keep this last 10% that are the right color and also the right gender. And then we're going to look at them and them alone. And everyone else, sorry. Again, most places in American life, this would not only be bad hiring practice, but it would be illegal. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on this. It's just strikes me as very bad policy, and again, kind of gross that we just hire people based on the color of their skin and shove people aside based on the color of their skin. I thought we were through this. I thought that the 1960s kind of moved us ahead. 1964 Civil Rights Act, that the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act came from. But apparently not. We seem to be taking a step or two backwards. So that's all for now. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, like the page. Follow us also on Twitter at FollowMe11B and The Real Follow Me 11B on Instagram. And we will see you on the next video.